Hello everyone, my name is Diego from Premium Chess Coaching, and today I want to deconstruct the games from Hikaru. You know, maybe you're already familiar with his games and how he streams. The thing is, like, sometimes he doesn't have enough time to explain his moves, and I feel like it's very relevant to, for me to try to explain the moves for people, right? So you can actually get some knowledge out of his games, and you can learn a lot from this genius. So let's start. And by the way, the reason why I picked this video, he's playing a speedrun against 1200 people, right? And I think like this is really interesting because at this level, these players, already have a solid knowledge of the fundamentals, but sometimes they fail into remembering how to apply them correctly, and also when they reach critical moments, they misplay the position many times, simply because they are not even aware they are in front of a critical position. So let's take a look at his games. Let's see. I love his thumbnails.
Here we go. Game one, you guys. Game one.
Let's see.
Play e4, knight c3. Let's go for. Do I want to? Nah, I can't. I can't make it work. Let's go bishop. Is he gonna go for like queen h? Let's go for a cheese ball checkmate. Oh shucks, he sees.
So this is actually interesting, right? How he's playing queen h5, aiming for f7. The thing is, like, he's also saying like, oh, he's not falling for this because he's taking his time. He's playing 3-minute games with increment, I think. And yes, his opponent has enough time to think through the moves. And bishop c4, queen h5 is kind of, an obvious threat. However, the way how the opponent defends here is not the best. I think like a move like queen e7, not queen f7, but probably knight h6 doesn't work. Yeah, I think queen f6 could be interesting because you are aiming on to f2 with the bishop and the queen. Because if you play queen e7, he has knight e5. That's the problem. I think like a move like queen f6 instead, attacking on f6, it could be interesting. Or the move g6, right? That way you can, yeah, I would play g6 here. Pawn to g6, attacking the queen, and probably he can play queen f3, I guess. But then you can play knight f6, and everything is defended. It's one option, okay? It's one option. Now, let's see how black reacted here.
And I'm not gonna get a checkmate. This is the board we're going to be using, you guys, so that's just how it's going to be. I'm trying to sauce him on f7, but unfortunately he's using all this time, so he clearly sees it. Just trying to go for... actually, he sees it, but he gives me a d4 move. He may have seen this one before. It's a fun story about...
So here, again, the opponent saw the threat, and he reacted with knight h6, but the problem is how he reacted, right? He's accomplishing the goal of avoiding the checkmate. But sometimes just because you have an idea, you have a plan, it doesn't mean like that's the... I mean, if you have an idea, in this case, avoiding the mate on f7, you have to know that there are multiple ways to accomplish that idea, okay? So the problem comes with someone wants to accomplish a goal or a plan, and they identify a way to execute that, but they don't. The person doesn't seek other alternatives, okay? And that's a common problem, not only at this level, but in other levels. So once again, the reason why knight h6 fails is not because it's not defending f7. It's because that after d4, now you have a problem. The pawn is attacking the bishop on c5, and the bishop on c1 is attacking the knight. So let's say that his opponent takes, I don't know, knight takes c4. Looks good. But now bishop takes knight h6, and by the time you capture the knight with a pawn, queen f7 is still a checkmate, right? Or for example, pawn d4, knight takes d4, bishop h6, knight takes c2 check, knight e1, and you are still losing because, everything is like you're getting mated in f7, your knight on c2 is on, on jeopardy. So yeah, it's a mess, right? So what was the big mistake for black here? Once again, I think it was a mistake on the way how he made the decision-making process, in the calculation part as well. So yeah, very interesting how he's
about this actually. So the 4-move checkmate.
playing this.
when I first started playing chess, I was very terrible at chess. Oh, that's disappointing. So I was very bad at chess. I didn't take losing well. Had some really bad results, and just wasn't very good in general. So I took a break from chess for quite a while. Or my parents stopped me from playing.
I love when Hikaru like tells his story. It's like it's very interesting, right? One of the most like amazing players in the world. How he like took a break. It's very interesting.
But then when I came back, my first tournament after not playing for like 4 months, I won 3 games really nicely.
And he won in a couple of moves. As a side note, before we jump into the next game, I wouldn't recommend you that you play Queen H5 or Queen F3, even if it works, because at that level you can make it work if you are playing in the elite, or not even in the elite, but if the gap of rating is very high, it's very like huge, it's big, well, you can make this stuff works. All right, but I would recommend you to try this stuff because it's not about the trick itself. Okay, Hikaru played Queen H5 and the opponent played Knight H6. Most people only know what to do when Queen H5 and then the Mate on F7, but when it comes to solve problems in your way, it's like if you don't have enough tactical experience, you can miss, good like the best moves, and you can get into a bad position. How do you know that Queen H5 is not the best move? Well, it's very hard to find a move like Queen H5 in games of higher rated players. Okay, and again, if you are someone who has less than 2000 rating, I would say less than 1800 or 1700, I don't recommend you to go against the fundamentals because you're still in the phase of learning the fundamentals properly. Okay, but again, this was an amazing game from Hikaru. I really love the D4 tactic.
Let's just go again. I won like 3 games for 4-move checkmate.
Okay.
So I was 3-0. I was in round 4 playing for first place, and I lost the 4-move checkmate with black, which was very sad.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how he's pre-moving the knight to b6 because he knows that c4 is coming. Very cool. It's part of the opening, right? That's why he's playing knight b6 immediately.
Okay, let's go knight to 5 e6. Plus 10 in the bank, exactly. First 10 of the evening. We'll play d6 here.
So a comment here. As you can notice, white spent a lot of tempos moving the pawns, which gives white some space advantage because the pawns are in the 5th rank. However, it's not easy at all to play this type of positions with white because it's very easy for black to undermine the space advantage, and you will see how a lot of trades can happen on the d6 square because you have a pawn on c7, a pawn on d6, a bishop on f8, and it's very easy for black to trade everything. Okay, and what's the problem? The problem is like now white has a good knight on d5. Of course, white can always trade his bishop for the knight, but that will give black the chance of having the pair of bishops, which are very strong in open lines. So you will see how he undermined the squares. This move d6 is very important because before, let's see. In this position, you can play knight c6 or bishop e7 to castle, right? But no.
Plus 10 in the bank, exactly. First 10 of the evening. We'll play
Hikaru is playing d6, okay? Why? Because once again, he knows the importance of undermining the center of the opponent. And yes, not only that, but you're creating some threats. For example, pawn takes e5, pawn takes pawn, bishop takes c5. And yes, I really like how he's playing this part of the opening. It's very cool.
d6 here. Let's just take.
Mm-hmm. Pawn takes.
So, sorry, I was just writing something on Facebook. Let's just take. How old was I? I was like 8.
I really love how he's like doing a lot of things while he's playing. And here, like he, finished his development very easily. It's like, after all the trades, now he has the bishop on d6 already developed, and the king is about to castle in one move. And it is a great result for black in the opening.
I was 7-ish.
And actually, he's pre-moving the castle, but his opponent played queen e2 check.
Oh, come on. Don't try to trade queens, dude. What is queen e2? I'm not going to let you trade queens. Wow, this guy is...
This is very interesting. Very, very cool. So Hikaru actually is getting mad because his opponent wants to capture, trade queens.
7-ish.
I mean, queen e2, like, of course, white has other options apart from queen e7. But we could say that white pretends queen e7 and queen takes queen, right? And this is like, you could play queen e7 if you want. But, when you're slightly better in the opening, I would recommend you to, leave the queens in the middle, all right? I used to talk with a lot of adult players, adult improvers, and they have told me that sometimes they want to trade everything because that way they feel safer, like the position's easy, and that's not true, okay? Just because you're trading pieces and you can get to a endgame with fewer pieces doesn't mean like the position is gonna be easier at all. Endgames are very, very complex, okay? So yeah, I would recommend you that, again, if you are someone who is among 1500 and below, try to keep the queens in the opening and see what happens, because you will see like you will have like good positions and you will learn a lot from that experience of playing with queens. And Hikaru here, instead of playing queen e7, he's playing bishop e6 so he develops, and at the same time he can castle later.
Oh, come on. Don't try to trade queens, dude. What is queen e2? I'm not going to let you trade queens. Wow, this guy is very check happy. Okay, I'll castle. He'll take, I'll play rook c8 and collect the bishop on c1.
This whole sequence is amazing. This whole sequence is amazing. So here's the thing. His opponent is playing queen b5 check. Hikaru plays knight c6. Okay. The reason why I think this is so great, it's because Hikaru knows that after knight c6 the pawn on b7 is hanging. Okay, but he doesn't care. Literally, he doesn't care because he knows that, okay, dude, take my pawn on b7, but I have 3 minor pieces developed. My king is about to castle, and all your pieces are in the first rank. So I don't even need to calculate this to know that this is wrong. Once you have, reach a point of mastery when you know that how true activity works in chess, you don't even need to calculate this, of course. Again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't calculate this. Of course, you need to, but at this level, it's like he's not even paying attention to b7 because he knows that, okay, take the free candy, but man, I'm gonna crush you because your pieces are left behind in terms of development. And there is such a thing called development advantage. Okay, so that's the problem. So Hikaru just playing ac6.
Check happy. Okay, I'll castle. He'll take, I'll play rook c8 and collect the bishop on
and after
c1.
rook c8, okay, so basically after the move rook c8, white is losing. Okay, and this is not a random thing. It's like Hikaru has the move rook c8 because, again, your pieces are not coordinated, are in the first rank, and now the rook is entering to c1, grabbing the bishop, and the position is a completely disaster. Okay, in terms of activity, there is a huge gap between black pieces and white pieces. Hikaru knows it, and that's why he's gonna win this.
Yes, I got to 3,000 at Bolt last night, you guys. The final score was 258 wins, 2 draws, and 15 losses because I played a lot of games against Danya at the end. I lost like 7 or 8 games to Danya. I think I beat him like 16-8. Thank you, Greeny, 50,000 for the 3-month resub. Thank you so much. Let's throw in a check. Is there a quick checkmate here?
Beautiful how old his pieces are playing.
Maybe check. I don't quite see the quick checkmate. It's got to go king e2, so I'll pre-move rook c2 check. King f1 is just checkmate. Let's go next game.
Yep, he won.
Play e4, knight c3.
Before we take a look at this game, yeah, so in the previous position, again, try to remember queen b5 check, knight c6, queen b7. Again, I know that 1,200 players, 1,300 players already have watched videos and they have studied the importance of quick development. However, they try, they sometimes go for the low-hanging fruit, and they want to go after, after some material. Like, they have this materialistic way of thinking, right? And when you play against higher rated players, it's like that approach doesn't work because you're trying to attack prematurely. You haven't earned the right to attack. So if you have noticed that you're stuck in 1200, 1300, maybe it's because you have a mindset of the low hanging fruit. Okay, so be careful with that.
Play d4, play f4. Let's just go h4, all aboard. Let's play h5. Whoa, takes f5, bishop h6 is coming. Let's checkmate. Let's go, next game.
Well, okay, here's another thing that is very important that I always see. When I have these group coaching calls with my students, one of the most important things I always point out is the time management. Okay, there are two main problems with time management. There are people who rushes, like there are people who rush a lot, like that play very very fast. And there are other people who play very very slow and they have problems with time. So take a look at this. This is not a bullet game. This is not a hyper bullet game. It's just a blitz game. Okay, and see how much time Hikaru has spent. See how much time his opponent has spent. I think it's tiny, but try to make an effort to see the times. No more than, what is that? No more than 20 seconds. And Hikaru made him in a couple of moves, right? I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, like, no, I think in less than 10 moves, right? It's like, what's going on? And the thing is, like, Hikaru started an early attack against the opposite king, which again, it's something that I don't recommend for people who are not above 1800, right? Like, once again, when you are someone who is below 2000, it's because you haven't mastered the fundamentals yet. So I would recommend you this type of approach. Again, Hikaru can pull off these tricks very, very well. But my point again is, take a look at the time. Take a look at the time. I would say that in a blitz game, or it is more notorious in a rapid game, you can see like in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a rapid game, for example, you will know who has the advantage. So if you want to have better results, it really doesn't matter what's the time control. You want to put extra effort in the first minutes, and most importantly, don't follow the pace of your opponent. If your opponent is playing pretty quickly, it's his problem. Okay? If your opponent is playing very quickly, there are two chances. You're playing against a Hikaru Nakamura in his speedruns accounts, or you're playing someone who is not aware of the importance of thinking, okay, and how to use their time properly. So take that as an advantage. Don't respond quickly. Take your time. Don't follow the pace of your opponent. If your opponent wants to play very fast, leave him alone. Okay, this game is pretty interesting because look,
5 bishop d4.
So until e4,
play f4.
Until this moment, everything is
go
part of the theory.
h4,
Now
all aboard.
Hikaru
Let's play
started
h5.
with h5. He's not developing anymore, and his
Whoa,
opponent traded.
takes f5.
And that's why Hikaru is saying, oh, because he wasn't expecting this trade. I mean, when he played h5, best case scenario is that your opponent takes. But when you are playing chess, you'd never expect the best case scenario. It's like, it's nice to consider that, but you're expecting your opponent will make something differently. And who knows, maybe Hikaru had in mind to make pawn takes g6, or maybe h6, I don't know, probably pawn takes g6 to open the h file, but his opponent captured on h5. Hikaru can think and play fast because he's a GM, and he has like a very strong, like his knowledge and his understanding of the games out of this planet, and he can do this stuff. But this guy can't. Of course, this guy doesn't know that he's playing against Hikaru, but again, it's like he's playing very, very fast. So don't do that, okay?
Bishop h6 is coming.
After queen h5, I would say that white is
checkmate. Let's go, next game.
Yeah.
Play knight f3. Let's play like c4, knight c3. How much coffee do I drink per day? Not a lot, but today I'm drinking a lot of coffee because I haven't had much to eat. So I'm drinking coffee to stay awake instead of eating terrible
Hikaru
calories.
just reached 2 million subscribers a couple of days ago. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh, that's disappointing. Okay. Let's play e4, knight c3. Play knight f3. Let's play knight g5. Terrible tasty calories, but calories are awful. Calories make you, you know, balloon in a certain way if you eat too many calories.
This is so amazing. This is so amazing. Hikaru is removing a lot of these moves already because he kind of know like what are the possible sequences to this. For example, knight e5 is such a great move because he's pre-moving knight takes knight because the knight on e6 is untouchable at this moment. Okay, and try to, you know, visualize this. Knight e5, okay, he's pre-moving the pawn. If queen takes knight, you have knight takes e7 with a fork, okay? Forking the king, the queen, the rook on e8. Of course, it will take the queen, but this is very, very cool. This reminds me of some tactics in the King's Indian when you're playing with the white pieces and the knight ends up on e6. Here, what I think is very important is to notice how he built...
Play knight f3.
First of all, this move actually is not the best for white in this type of lines. I would say that after knight e4 takes here, because this is like the 4-knight variation, right? With the line of bishop c4. Now, here you need to be when the white player is putting the knight on f3 and the bishop on c4, it is important to, you know, always pay attention to f7. So here, if I don't know the theory, I will make a move like bishop e7, for example. Now, if he plays knight g5 the same way he did, short castle and black should be fine. Now, objectively speaking, I think the best move here for black is to capture on e4. Knight takes pawn, knight takes knight, and then you can play d5 and you will get the piece back. But the idea of this is like you don't do this to win a pawn or no, but you want to, you know, remove the e4 pawn from the board and have the e5 pawn here. So if you're someone who are, you know, below 1500, please remember this. If you are playing with black and you enter into the 4-knight variation and your opponent makes bishop c4, remember you have knight e4 followed by pawn to d5. That's, I would say, by test, the best line for black. So yep, because after d6 you have knight g5, and I still like black still has
terrible tasty.
So again, after knight g5, black still, well, playing d5 now, I'm not sure if it works. I think at least d5 should be better than bishop e6, because after bishop e6, you know, knight takes e6. And after this...
Calories, but calories are awful. Calories make you, you know...
After this, white is winning. And once again, take a look at the time. Black has 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and Hikaru has 2 minutes and 56 seconds. The problem is that most people don't expect to get such a trashy positions in the opening, in the first moves. But that's why you have to slow down. I have spoken with a lot of players, and they tell me stuff like, oh, I think like I need to improve my openings. I feel like I need to do this, and this. Openings, tactics. Man, no, you don't need that. What you need is to slow down, you know, sit on your hand and think. That's what you have to do, right? I'm starting to get a little bit, you know, mad. But no, I'm okay. The thing is like, slow down. Chess is a game that is meant for you to think, you know. That's the thing. Again, Hikaru is using 4 seconds and this guy is using 10 seconds and he's already losing. Okay, so yeah,
balloon in a certain way if you eat too many calories. So yeah, the timer reset, you guys.
And that's what I said. The knight on e6 was untouchable and he captured, and then knight c7 and knight takes. And you know, again, I think like this guy, by having 1100, all very close to 1200, he already knows what a fork is, right? But in critical moments, people tend to forget about the most, you know, simple forks. If you give this position to that guy in a puzzle rush, or let's say in a puzzle scenario, okay, you have this puzzle, solve this. You know that the queen cannot take the knight, because in a puzzle scenario you are, you know, giving your time to think. Okay, but people tend to forget that they can think when they're playing.
Many calories. So yeah, the timer reset.
And Hikaru is pre-moving with a pawn because he was expecting that knight takes knight. But again, that's terrible for you know, that's terrible for white as well, for black as well.
You guys, because I had to restart the whole challenge. Let's play c3. Let's just take and go like queen g4. Let's play d4.
Now Hikaru's opening the
Guess
center.
those pre-move castles.
Yeah, he's already winning this. There's no much like much to say.
Just throwing a rookie 1 check. Up and cover says Filianak got to drop the calories to drop the weight. Yeah.
Now black.
Yeah, I've been in a bit of a diet mode for the last like week and a half.
Now black is using more time, but it's already over.
Half or so. If the Raptors win, do you shave the playoff beard? I'm gonna be shaving tonight, probably regardless. But yeah, for sure I will. For sure I will. This looks like a bullet speed run, not a blitz speed run. This is blitz, you guys. Don't be confused. This is blitz. I'm just blitzing fast because I figure you want to win your games quickly to try and okay. Let's just take and queen. I'll just pre-move queen d5. This is inhumane treatment of 1200s. Bruins gonna win tonight. Yes, I think I mentioned this the other night. I think the Bruins are gonna smoke the Blues in Game 7. Let's make a check. 3.
Yeah.
Again, that's 4 wins, 0 losses.
That's amazing.
Play e4, knight c3, d4, okay, f4. Let's play bishop d3. Let's play e5 takes. Just castle take.
Okay, so another important thing here is like, take a look at how he's playing with his pawns, right? Since his opponent hasn't made a move like pawn e5 or d5, he's only playing on the 6th rank. Hikaru is pushing all his pawn to d4, e4, f4 to gain space as much as he can. Of course, this doesn't mean like he will beat black immediately, but this can increase his odds for the future. Okay, and probably Hikaru, I haven't seen this game, but probably he's gonna use the pawn on e5, maybe, I don't know. You know, I would say that black main problem will be like the lack of space, and he will probably he's gonna attack on the king side. So what can you learn from this? If your opponent is playing, you know, conservatively with d6, e6, grab the space, you know, d4, e4, f4, do whatever you want. Of course, be careful with the trades.
3. Let's play e5
Which is interesting because after knight d5, Hikaru didn't capture
castle
immediately.
takes.
Why? I think like the reason why he's not capturing d5 is because after pawn takes, now the pawn on e6 is on d5, and now that pawn can control more squares in the center. And if the pawn on e6 is on d5, now the bishop on d7 has a diagonal, so no need to help your opponent, right? Most people are not aware of what are the right trade is in chess. If a trade is not gonna give you something, then don't do it. Okay.
These 1200s must be very
I
impressive.
don't get that move at all. Queen b8.
That you don't hang a piece every other move. This is also a 0-loss speed run. That's the goal. I don't want to lose any games if I can. Although no, at like 2800. Thank you Napoli458 for the Twitch Prime sub. Let's just go for a checkmate like this.
Another important thing here is like it's very easy to you know, to not pay attention to this subtlety, but take a look at this position, right? Hikaru has the open f file. He has the bishop pointing out to h7, the knight ready to jump to g5. It's terrible for black, because all white's pieces are ready to attack on the king side. Even here, I think like the right move should be castle, but again, all the ideas with the attack with the knight on g5 and the bishop on h7 looks pretty bad for black. But you need to do something. At least try to h6 and you know, and then castle. I didn't get queen b8, queen d8. That was a waste of time. But here Hikaru plays knight g5. Of course he can do that because the queen is on b8. But here
these 1200s must be very
here in this position, right? And now you are basically losing this. Here the right move I think should be bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop. But you're losing this because, you know, white has space, white has open files. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So something that is important is like the reason why you develop, you conquer the center, you castle your king, is because you build up some momentum for your pieces for the middle game, so you can create an attack, you grab the initiative, you create an attack, and then it's like you're earning the right to attack. Okay, here Hikaru did everything like perfectly. He develops all his pieces, and now that his pieces are ready, he plays knight g5, which is his first offensive move, and it worked pretty well. And here,
trust that you don't hang a piece every other move. This is also a 0-loss speed run. That's the goal.
After knight f7, white is already winning. Take a look at the time. Take a look at the time. Hikaru has 2 minutes and 55 seconds, and his opponent has 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It's like they're playing a bullet game. And of course, for Hikaru, this is amazing. But for his opponent, it's like, dude, you only spent 15 seconds, you know? The reason why you're having so much trouble in the opening is not because you don't know the opening, it's because you're playing too fast. And the quality of your moves is very, very low. Some people simply don't understand this, and they spend the whole time, you know, I don't know, doing stuff like that won't help them. You know, and if you are someone who don't have a lot of time in chess, but you really want to improve, pay more attention to the way how you make decisions, how you focus, how much time you spend per move, right? That is more important than learning all the openings in the world.
Oh, I don't want to lose any games if I can. Although, no, at like 27,2800. Thank you, Napoli458 for the Twitch Prime sub.
And yeah,
let's just...
he's winning this.
Okay. I want to win a lot of games in like 2 seconds if I can. Let's play e6.
Okay, they're playing this opening.
Let's
Usually caking on c5 when you're playing against the Karakan is not a good idea. Now you will see how Hikaru will do that.
Like knight g7. I will run into silicon enhanced players. Okay, let's play knight g6. Free pawn, thank you very much. Let's go queen f6. Who knows? We'll see if I can get to 3,000. Probably this is going to be the 24-hour stream where I don't stop until I get to 3,000. But we'll see. Awesome. No, but for Blitz at 3,000, there are enough people at 2,700. Like,
okay, in this position, I think White made a pretty decent game. The problem is, like, in the opening, he lost a pawn, right? You see, like, Hikaru has 6 pawns, White has 5 pawns. And, well, even if the position will be equal, Black's pieces are very, very well placed. What happened here? Why Hikaru has 6 pawns and your opponent only has 5? Because in the opening, this happened.
In like 2 seconds if I can. Let's play e6.
It was really very fast, but this.
I want to win a lot of games in like 2 seconds if I can.
This is what happened. So after c5, he took on c5, and the problem with this move is that, okay, you're getting a pawn, but e5 now it's weak and c5 is weak. And Hikaru didn't capture e5 immediately. He played e6, he developed his pieces, he captured on c5, but he knows that e5 is weak because e5 can't be only defended by the knight on f3. You can't play pawn to f4 because Black has a bishop on c5. What's the conclusion here? In the Karakan, you should, if you're gonna play the advanced variation with e5, you should hold the pawn on d4. In other words,
let's play. So that's why I want to win a lot of games in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. In other words, in this type of positions, wait.
The games are going to take longer as players get better. So that's why I want to win a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of games in like 2 seconds. Games are going to take longer as players get better. So that's why I want to
No, this wasn't the Karakan. Sorry, this was another. This was a Scandinavia. The Scandi defense. No, it's different. Yeah, in this type of positions, pawn takes pawn is better. The problem is like after c5.
2 seconds.
The problem with e5, the problem of the move e5 in the Scandi is that Black has c5, and after d4, in knight c6, Black is undermining d4. Okay, so I don't know if this is the best thing for White, but I would try at least c3. But again, it can be problematic on the c file, bishop f5. Yeah, But c3 at least. Okay, if here white plays c3, you can hold the pawn chain. But after this, white has a
play
e5
e6.
pawn that is weak. So a couple of moves later, Hikaru just won.
Who knows? We'll see if I can get at 3,000. There are enough people at
He's much
26,
better.
2,700. Like at bullet, there aren't, but at blitz.
Now it's like probably he's gonna attack on the side where he has the advantage, which is the queen side. c3 is very weak, a4 is very weak. He has the c file for the rooks.
There are enough people there, so so you can just chill in blitz. Like I can find the 2,500 to eke off of, or the 2,600. Whereas in bullet, it's much hard to. Oh, we have a disconnector. Ramdat1 is disconnected. Oh, he's reconnected. Never mind, he's back. Let's just take. I'll pre-move bishop a4. Very dangerous pre-move. Biffer TV says, "Dude, haven't you slept already? Why would I have slept?
Slowly, but
I was doing commentary of Norwich, so why would I have slept? I'm confused."
So now he's up 2 pawns. So.
More or less losses than a bullet. I'm gonna say less. Well, I don't know. It depends who I play. It depends who I play against. Like I'm gonna try in this one to not play people multiple times, because in this one, if I play people multiple times, they're probably gonna know who I am. So yeah, it wouldn't be ideal. Thank you very much. I'm just gonna put the 1 already. This is loser's chess, apparently.
Yeah, when you know, you know. I would like to play with Hikaru. Like, sadly, my rating is not like high enough to play him. I can't, you know. I have like among 2400 chess.com, so I don't have enough rating to, you know, get pair against him. But yeah, I would like to get destroyed by him. When I say that I would like to play with him, it's like I would, you know, like to beat him by any means. I know that he will beat me, but I would like to see how awful that could be. And I know that he's not even using his full power in these games, so it will be like very amazing to see him in action. Yeah. So yes, this is it for today. I only like analyze 8 games. You know, I talk a lot today, but I think like it was relevant to point out what are the main, you know, not obstacles but mistakes that people make. And in regardless of what's your rating, right, you can always make a mistake in chess because time management, you follow the pace of your opponent instead of following your own pace, not paying enough attention to the critical moments, trying to attack when you haven't earned the right to attack, you know, reaching or going for the low-hanging fruit. Those things are very, very important. Okay, so I hope that you enjoy this. If you would like to see more about these comments of the speedruns, let me know. Maybe we can finish this game and I can start a video series. And yeah, I will and also follow me on Instagram or chess.com so we can connect. I will, you know, drop my links below somewhere. But yeah. Oh, and by the way, I want to give you a gift if you reach this point, because this is like a long ass video and I want to give you a gift. So, you know, I'm gonna prepare a document, a PDF of the comments, highlights, and keynotes of this video, so you can study this, especially if you're someone who doesn't have time. Thank you for watching the video. I want to give you a gift, and actually I've made a couple of notes, you know, keynotes from this analysis, this reaction I made from Hikaru's game. And here I, you know, created some highlights and keynotes for you so you can study this in case you want to watch this again. And also I'm adding in this new document a couple of resources that I think will be very, very helpful for you in your journey. The first one is a masterclass about the first 10 minutes of your games are the most important, and here I teach you how to focus correctly in the first 10 minutes. Okay, if you're playing in a rapid game, right? If you're playing a blitz game, you also will see what is the magic proportion and how you should like spend more time thinking and how you should think in the first minutes of your games. Okay, and also I'm adding my webinar, the 5 shifts to reach a 2000 rating in chess.com. If you're interested, you can get a copy of this document for free. And yes, basically I can send it to you. In order to get this copy, you can add me on chess.com or in IG, okay? And actually I am putting the links to my chess.com and my Instagram below, so you can send me a message. In case you are wondering what's my username and you want to go directly, this is my chess.com username, so you can send me a friend request, and then you can send me a message that you are interested in that with the magic word Hikaru, okay? You can send me that message and I will send you the document. Or in IG as well, you can add me. This is my username, so you can, follow me. And again, the word Hikaru. So I'm going to, if you DM me the word Hikaru, I can send you this masterclass, okay? This document for free. So I hope you had a great time watching this video, my analysis. Hopefully I will make more analysis of this in the future. And this is it for today. Thank you very much.